Alright, welcome to our first class using Visual Basic for applications in Microsoft Excel. We'll begin by introducing my name, Andrew Cadogan. For those who are listening to this video here, that's for those particular students who haven't showed up in classes yet. We are going to record this lesson as well to make sure that you all have the opportunity to review what was done on this particular day. We're going to begin by learning two commands here. Alt F11 to get to the VBA window, and to view macros, Alt F8. But first and foremost, we will do the Alt F11. So hold on Alt and F11 on your keyboard. Alright, to load your macro window. Alright. As you continue, you would notice that on your VBA interface, somewhat just like Visual Basic for application, as well as on the .NET environment where we're going to be serving in a little while, probably later down in our class, at the right hand side or the left hand side of the plane, you're going to see Excel worksheets, and you're going to see all these different types of properties for each one of these worksheets. We will not be interfering with these properties just as yet. Right? I just want us to show a very basic output stream procedure. But before we do that, we would create what you call, or insert what you call, a module, because we want to do all our programming inside this module right here. Alright, so let's go to insert and module. And we'll begin by outputting a message box saying, this is your message box. It's almost like saying, hello world, my name is Andrew Cadogan. What a wonderful name that is. Alright, but to begin, we would start off by using the function command known as sub, right, meaning sub function, and I'm going to name this message box. And pay particular attention to the syntax. If you notice that there is no space in between each one, and by the time you press enter, you would realize that the end sub option would show up itself. Right? The command to do the message box is very simple. You type message box. Alright, and then normally when you type message box, a prompt would come up letting you know afterwards what type of information to enter. I mean, you could put in it in brackets if you wish. However, you could use the quotes if you want. So let's put, this is your message box. Alright, and we'll close it off by quotes. And this would be our first output stream command, printing out a message box, opening up a dialog box. Right, we can run this sub function by clicking on the run menu. As you would see now, the Alt F8 option has now presented itself. The macro dialog box. We see the macro as it's stated here in message box, and we could run, and voila. This is your message box appeared on the screen, and we could click OK to come back out. Let's make this a little bit more user friendly. In every single program that you would type, you would always say hello world, right? And as you can see now, we'll put in open brackets, same thing. If you realize the syntax is the same thing, and I'll put hello world, and I'll begin by saying, or put in one of the best names that you would have ever heard in Trinidad and Tobago and the world. My name is Andrew Cadogan. Alright, and we close it off by saying that. Very simple. Again, we could go to the run menu and run our macro, or we could just simply hold down Alt and F8 to run particular macros. Alright, once you're in the Visual Basic Studio, you'll have to press F5. I mean, in the dialog Visual Basic mode, you'll press F5. If however you're in the Excel mode, this worksheet here, Alt and F8, and you'll get a view of all your macro options like this. And you just select run, and look, we are seeing a message box just appear. Hello world, my name is Andrew Cadogan. What a wonderful name. Alright, this concludes our very first class. Our first session actually. Any questions?